And I'm weak, and I feel weak, and if you do, that's good, because you can trust the one who's strong. So here, Paul is saying that the Holy Spirit helps in our weakness. Now, look at what he says here. This is cool, because Paul did not say, it sort of jumped off if you read it. Paul didn't say, well, the Holy Spirit will help you in your weakness. He didn't say that, which is you say, hold on, man, I thought that's what he said. No, he didn't say the Holy Spirit helps you. Look at what he said. The Holy Spirit helps us in our weakness, for we do not know what to pray. Paul put himself right in there with you. Now, when I look at that, I'm thinking, dude, this is a giant. This is a spiritual hero, and he's right there with me. Paul says he helps us. You know, I mean, I don't know, it puts some hope in my tank, folks, to know that Paul struggles spiritually. I mean, Paul didn't always know what to do. He didn't always say the right thing. He didn't always do the right thing. He didn't always know what to pray or how to pray. And that puts some hope in my tank, because I feel those same feelings sometimes, right? And we always tend to think of the biblical characters as spiritual giants who had it all together all the time, always on. I mean, if you think about it, you think about people like Elijah, right? I mean, Elijah was this varsity player in our mind. I mean, he's not a JV Christian in our mind, right? He is a varsity. I mean, dude is epic dude. I mean, man, he stood in front of Pharaoh, or I'm sorry, not Pharaoh, that was Moses. We'll talk about that in a moment. He stood in front of prophets of Baal, hundreds of prophets of Baal. And he had them, they offered let's get our sacrifices ready. And he said, hey guys, I tell you what, you call down on your God to bring fire. No matches, you call down on your God. So they began to call down on Baal. They began to call down on their God to bring fire. Nothing was happening, obviously, because it's no God. It's like saying, hey, stage, make it fire. It's not going to happen, right? And so Elijah started making fun of him. Your God, he must be going to the bathroom or something. You know, I mean, he was trash talking, having a little fun. I love it. Right? And then all of a sudden, he said, okay, it's my turn, boys. Y'all have had all day. It's my turn. And he said, look, here, I'm going to tell you what. Why don't y'all just pour all the water, just pour all this water over mine. And then he called down, and God brought down fire from heaven, consumed that sacrifice. Man, that's an epic dude right there, right? I mean, then he stood up, Chuck Norris, and just slaughtered 400 prophets. I mean, man, I've been on Mount Carmel where that happened, and man, there's this huge statue of Elijah, and I love it, because he's got on this statue, and it's huge, he's got his foot on the throat of one of the prophets and that sword, and I'm like, oh, that's cool right there, man. I've got some pictures of it, and that's an epic dude. You know, I'm not no rocket surgeon, right? But I'll promise you this, I'm smart enough to know I ain't messing with Elijah. That dude is a bad dude. But here's what we know. We think about Elijah as this, he was so weak that after doing all that, he was so afraid of Jezebel that he prayed, God, I'm the only one that's serving you. And he prayed for God, let him die. That's how weak he was. We think about Moses. Moses, definitely a major player, right? I mean, Moses, he jumped in the ring and into a battle royale with Pharaoh, the most powerful man on earth. He called down plague miraculously after plague until Pharaoh tapped out. And then as he was leading the Israelites out, they were going across, got to the Red Sea. Pharaoh changed his mind, and Pharaoh went after him. Well, Moses held up his staff, and God parted the Red Sea. The Israelites went through. The Egyptians pursued. Bang, came crashing down, killed them all. I mean, this dude, at his word, the ground opened, swallowed those who literally challenged his leadership. I ain't messing with that dude, right? He is an epic dude, giant. We think, he's so strong. Moses was so weak that, man, he didn't think he could do anything. He questioned his adequacy. I'm not adequate. I can't speak. I can't do this. No one will know who I am. Listen, if Moses questioned his adequacy and felt inadequate, I'm in trouble, right? And so what we see here is, man, the greatest heroes of our faith were not strong men and women who were able to do great things. They realized that they were weak, and they prayed to the one who's strong. That's the key, is they were weak. And Paul's talking about the Holy Spirit helps us in our weaknesses. And if you want to attempt anything great for the kingdom, if you want to accomplish anything great for the kingdom, you've got to realize, you know what, I'm weak, and I got to pray to the one who's strong.